At this point, I'm almost a fanatic on physics and biology because they're the things that you have to understand this planet, and people are part of the planet. There's a physics experiment where you take a mayonnaise jar and dip it into a pan of water upside down. And the air that's in the jar, well, you can push the mouth of the jar way down in there, but the air that's in the jar won't let the water come up. But if you tilt the jar sideways, let some of the air out, the water can come up. That's kind of the way I see the people on this planet. Their preconceived ideas and stress and everything keep anything coming into their lives other than the stress that's already there. Whereas if you remove some of that stress, then other things can happen to people. And I don't think we've seen that for centuries. People live in stress. 2 paychecks away from being homeless. Having to... and the planet's then in stress. And then those people are in stress, stressing the planet. And then they're in stress trying to pay their utility bills and their mortgage payments and so on. So it appeared to me that this was an avenue now. I didn't set out to find this avenue, but now I'm here and I realize what it is. It's an avenue. Exploration of how to remove stress, basically. That's not necessarily architecture. And rightly so, because I think architecture is pitifully flailing these days in terms of what it really should be. Whether it's successfully beautiful or not, if it doesn't take care of itself and the people in it, to me, it's as bad as a sinking ship, which is what most of it is. We're developing these communities in New Mexico because that's firsthand, and then we're taking them across the planet, around the world, to demo projects. And we've just completed one in the UK, and we did another one in Scotland, we did one in Belgium, and Mexico, and Japan, and India, and we go all over the place to do that. And that's like planting a seed. Like, I don't have time to go to every country and do a major project. I will educate local builders and architects, and they'll mess with it a little and water it down a little and ruin it a little and whatever. But it still plants seeds. And the reason I try to go and do a one-room demo is because I can control that demo for about 10 days and make sure that it gets done as good as it possibly can. And then it will demonstrate what we're trying to demonstrate in a very small way so that there are no arguments about what works and what doesn't work. So we're doing that a lot, and we're documenting that with books and videos and things.
Next, we're off down Earthship Way to see the Earthship design called the Hut. Located in a gravel pit reclamation project called Lemuria, the Hut Earthship consists of 2 circular huts connected with a greenhouse. You can see here a use for our society's throwaways. Those are colored bottles embedded in the exterior wall.
When I first started doing it, people thought I was crazy. The first time I told an engineer I was going to build a building out of beer cans, I was in a bar and I was telling him about it. He got up and stormed away out of the bar. You're a disgrace to the architectural profession. And so, and you start treating sewage inside the home, you're going to raise a lot of eyebrows there. And on, building buildings out of tires and what they end up looking like. See, I like to sculpt them. This is one of the ones we played with a little bit. But that was only after it took its own shape from what it needed to work, to function. Humans, I think, are very similar to what I've observed in terms of plants in a greenhouse. You take a plant that, for instance, one of the ones I remember was the purple wandering Jew plant. I've seen them at my mother's house and everything in pots, and it's a purple plant. And I had never seen one bloom till I put one in one of these gray water systems. I know they do bloom if you add a lot of minerals and Miracle-Gro and stuff, but I put one in these gray water systems, and it got, with all the nutrients in the water and everything, it got so happy they spread like crazy and they bloomed. It became almost a different plant. I've seen that many times with many plants. I've seen plants do things that they normally haven't done in my view of them because they were put in a more nutrient-full environment. So I'm thinking that people are that way too. I'm saying that if you took stress out of people's lives and made them happy in the terms of the way they live. I'm not saying make them happy through any kind of yoga or religion or whatever. Those things may or may not help. I'm just saying make it easy for them to be sort of at peace on this planet with some guidelines or whatever, architecture, whatever you want to call it. They would bloom. And I think humanity could go to a whole different level, and I think maybe they've even been at that level in the past. We don't know why or how. We don't know how they built the pyramids. We don't know what happened to Atlantis. There's all these myths of crystals and moving objects and whatever. We don't have time to even think about that because we're 2 paychecks away from being homeless. We're in traffic, swearing and going to having road rage, and there's no way. We don't even look at the stars. We look at TV. We constantly are introverted. Our evolution is introverted, it seems to me, whereas in the old days, people would look up at the stars, and at least their thoughts would go out there. So I see, and when you put that into some kind of perspective, it is an adventure. Yeah, I can't wait to get up in the morning and do more of this to see how it's affecting more people. And it's backfired a lot of times. I end up falling into the same traps because we have a business and a subdivision and laws and all kinds of codes and all kinds of things that I have to get into to do this, but still this is pushing in the direction of making people free and less stress for them and the planet. And it's not a moral issue, it's not a spiritual issue, it's not a political issue, it is a logical issue.
We felt embraced by the Hut Earthship. Next, we visit the most economical and versatile Earthship in terms of construction and building. This is a vertical glass front Earthship. The off-the-rack aspect of this package Earthship makes this a very user-friendly approach for the novice owner-builder. It can be delivered as a kit anywhere in the planet. It can be adapted to any climate. It comes in a variety of designs and sizes. One of the most recently built package Earthships report a maximum low temperature of 64 degrees early in the morning before sunrise after 2 cloudy days and a minus 17 degree winter night. That's without any auxiliary heat. And newer models are expected to outperform that.
I think that it is way difficult. People may think about things every once in a while, but it's like the gravity of the Earth that holds, makes it hard for rocket ships to break through the gravity. There's a gravity of human nature that makes it really hard to think in any other way than the way that's here, and that's not really working, and it's nobody's fault. But I think it's in bad shape. I think from the skies to the waters to the nature of the people, the happiness of the people all over the planet, the haves and the have-nots, just the condition. There's so many places on the planet that are destroyed, that are trashed out beyond repair in the next century, and they just keep growing. The oil spill situations, the radioactivity, the sewage, the trash and junk, and so on.
Next, we visit some construction sites. Here you can see the berm of earth up to the roof line. Earthships can also be constructed using concrete or straw bales, and a thermal wrap of insulation is recommended on the exterior to increase the inside temperature comfort. Here you can see the planter being constructed on the south wall.
Yeah, I think it's bad. Every time I go to Europe, we go to Europe a lot because of the demos, or to other cities in this country, I'm appalled. I can't wait to get out of there and get back here. It's wide open here. Plenty of land left to demonstrate how life could be on this planet. But I don't think things are very good. You know, I don't like to be doomsday. I don't like to predict. I just like to try and do it how it could be done, and maybe demonstrate that it's more logical, that it's easier and more logical and actually more soothing way to live. What I think is there's a lot of rhetoric, a lot of environmentalists. Like one of the things that I've said over and over again, even back in the 70s, was you know, the kids would go out and demonstrate against nuclear power, and then they would go home and smoke a joint and turn on Led Zeppelin that was plugged in to their power that was plugged into probably nuclear power. In other words, there's talk, and that's the way it was then. I wanted to see people live. You know, the Indians say it, you walk the talk, and that's basically what it is. If you walk the talk, you don't really have to talk that much. You just do it.
Next construction site. Our first encounter? No, silly, I didn't mean aliens.
Oh, what a dog. It's okay.
This front entry, with steps descending to a landing before entering the main living area, provides not only a place to take off boots, but an important cold air lock. The stone floors are being installed today. It's that free sunshine warmth that is captured by the stones and released back into the house as the temperature cools at night. This Earthship has an enclosed sun space on the south wall to even more efficiently capture and retain the heat of the sun. Beautiful tile work can be found in many Earthships. And these walls are waiting for those beautiful touches of tile and stone.
Let's see it.
Oh, look, even birds like living in Earthships. And what a classy skylight with its copper weight balancer. Finished or not, a good time was had by all.